Hello, welcome back to my channel. We are now in February of 2022 and it has been 1 year since I started playing with eyeshadow. I thought that it would be fun to go back into my Instagram account and just grab a snapshot of my favorite look from each month since I started playing with eyeshadow and then recreate it in a more modern, this is what I've learned, this is my style sort of version. So I'm going to share a picture of the look, which is my inspiration photo from February of 2021, and you can compare it to today's look, and if you'd like to see how I did it and hear a little bit about my journey, then stick around. If you haven't been here before, hello, my name is Rachel. I am a homeschooling stay-at-home mom who loves to play with colorful eyeshadow. I just love the creative outlet and expression of it. If you're interested in tutorials and rankings, palettes, comparisons, anything like that, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing. I do try to upload about 3 videos a week, and you can also find me on Instagram at Shimmers and Silver. Now, without further ado, let's get down to it. So for today's look, I actually shopped my stash and pulled out 2 different palettes to recreate the look that I had made last February. I think that the palette I used for that look was the Whatever palette from ColourPop, but I'm not totally sure and I don't have that palette anymore. Anyway, so I had to shop my stash and figure out what colors I had that were pretty close to what I saw in the photograph. So I chose At Forest Sight and from ColourPop and Blueberry Muffin from BH Cosmetics. But first, I'm going to prime my eyes. Today I'm using the Glamlight Icing Primer in the shade White Frosting. The reason I've chosen this primer instead of the NYX primer that I often use and usually use with ColourPop is because I'm using a Glamlight shimmer shadow, and I sometimes have creasing with those formulas, so I just figured just better safe than sorry, I'll use the primer that is better for me when it comes to creasing. Honestly, today I'm feeling a little bit tired, I think, a little bit on edge. And I'm hoping that doing something creative like my eyeshadow will help calm me down a little bit. I'm going to start by grabbing the shade Chanterelle in the At Forest Sight palette. I'm gonna take that with a pretty large blending brush. I love this palette. I'm going in very lightly, nothing too crazy, nothing too heavy. I just want this to be like a transitional shade in the crease area. So I'm placing it in the outer corner and then blending it in towards the bridge of the nose. So we are now in February of 2022. It's been a year since I started using eyeshadow. It's interesting for me to try and look back and figure out what it was that sort of sparked my interest in eyeshadow. I know I've talked before about how, you know, I played with the eyeshadow a little bit as a kid and my mom was not into makeup at all, so there was just the one palette, and I don't know, it's just various things. I've talked on and off about it in other videos. I'm curious what it was last year that got me started. I wonder if it had anything to do with the COVID pandemic and how, you know, people were just trapped in their homes, but I feel like that wasn't it, because honestly that didn't really affect our social lives in any way. My daughter and I already stayed home all day every day because my husband had a job and he had the car, and so he would take the car and go to work, and it was, unless I had something specific planned, it was more of a hassle to be out of the house at 6:30 in the morning with a small child than to just stay home and, you know, kick it at home, especially since I was homeschooling. Like we had things to do at home. And I have a small business on the side, which I could, you know, give my attention to during the day. So as far as the quarantine goes, it didn't really affect us. And I know a lot of people started new side hustles or hobbies in 2020 because of quarantine stuff, but I don't feel like that was a defining thing for me getting into eyeshadow. I think it could have been simply being a stay-at-home mom and feeling, just feeling uncreative, like I wanted somewhere to release my creative energies. Could have been that, or I don't know. I think I was getting more into color in general, like being all domesticated and finally figuring out what style or colors I liked in my home, and, you know, buying throw pillows and curtains and realizing that I really liked color. And then figuring, well, what, you know, I used to play with eyeshadow. Maybe I could put some eyeshadow on my face, and that would be fun. I don't know, that's as far as I've gotten. I can't really, I definitely cannot pinpoint one specific thing that launched me into playing with eyeshadow, especially colorful eyeshadow, because this is not neutral. I don't go for neutrals. So it's curious. I do wonder about that, but I'm not complaining. I've enjoyed the process and I've enjoyed the journey. I'm now dipping into the Blueberry Muffin palette into the shade 350 Degrees using a detail crease brush from e.l.f. I want to keep this shadow, I'm recreating the look, but I'm gonna do it with my current style and volume and technique and flair because my skills have advanced over that time. So that look is my inspiration, but this is probably gonna be a bolder version of that. So with that brush, I'm placing that in the outer corner, creating the V that I like. This is such a beautiful brown shadow. The shadow like blends itself. It's pigmented. It's not like a boring brown. It's got like a purpley haze to it. It's really nice. What I was saying in the last step was that I've enjoyed the process and the journey. So the reason that I started an Instagram account for eyeshadow, the reason that I started Shimmers and Silver, which started as Instagram and then moved to YouTube, was because I wanted some sort of record to show my progress. I wanted some place that would hold all those photos. If I was doing daily eyeshadow, I didn't need that to fill my phone. And I thought, well, if I start an Instagram account, not only can I connect with other creators and get inspiration and ideas, but I can also have a place to store my own photos and log my journey. And then I can look back and see how far I've come. And that would be fun. I'm sorry, my daughter came down and needed help with school, so I'm not sure where I left off. I was saying that I started Instagram so that I would have a record of my progress, and that is what I've got. Like, when I wanted to do this look of the month idea, I just went into Instagram and grabbed the photos that I had posted when I first started, and there you go. Although, to be fair, I think I started Instagram in August, and these first few months of looks that I'll be doing were actually highlights on my business Instagram page, because I had just started getting into eyeshadow, and again, I wanted somewhere to share it, but I didn't want to put those photos on my business page's timeline, like the feed, so I put them as stories and turned them into a highlight category. And so I had to go into that business profile to find the first couple of months before I started Shimmers and Silver. Now, just because it's me and I like a deeper outer corner, I'm taking a large pencil brush and going into the shade Decadent right here. And I'm gonna place this on my outer corner, as I always do, to add in some depth. I was thinking it would be fun to do a video talking about the things that I've learned over this first year of doing eyeshadow, like do a good eye versus bad eye sort of thing, and just kind of compare where I started with where I am now. Because I love progress photos. I love to see where a person began and where they are now after dedicated practice, because that inspires me. I'm like just looking at myself now, my eyeshadow looks are so much better than they were a year ago. My color confidence is better. My techniques are better. And I haven't really improved my tools. Like, I have 1.5 brush sets, one from Amazon and one from Morphe. The Morphe one is like a $16 brush set. And all of my eyeshadow palettes, with the exception of a Huda, the one that I bought secondhand, they're all like $15 to $20 eyeshadow palettes. I don't have the most high-end supplies, but my results are so much better simply because of technique. And so I appreciate that, like the value of putting your time into something to get better at it. I mean, I like languages, I like musical instruments, I like lots of things, and no matter what I put my time into, I'm gonna get better at doing that thing. Now, my original look did have a slightly berry kind of hue to it, so with this base now in the outer corner, I am taking a very stained, look at this, it's like blue-green. It is mostly stained. I clean my brushes every couple days, and this is stained. Anyway, this is a relatively dense medium blending brush. I'm going into At First Sight, and I'm dipping into the shade Amanita, which is a beautiful purpley reddish sort of tone. And I'm dipping in lightly. I just want to add a bit of that color out here. That color is already pretty well existing between the shades that I've put down already, but I do want to add more of a berry tone to it. So as far as progress goes, I'm proud of myself. I think that I've made good progress in a year. I kind of kick myself for not putting this kind of attention into other hobbies of mine, because I could have made similar progress in those over that same year. I think it's good for us to think about that, because we only get so much time and none of us actually knows how much time we will get. As you may have guessed, this look is not terribly complicated. I am now grabbing a flat detail brush and I'm grabbing the color Sweet from Blueberry Muffin. I'm going to dip into the pan and then I'll spray my brush as I usually do. And I'm going to lay this on my lid from the inner corner all the way to meet those shadows at the outer corner. Now I'm taking that denser blending brush that I used for the Amanita shade, and without any additional product, I'm just tapping where the shimmer meets the matte to help transition a bit. When I first started doing eyeshadow, I didn't do anything on the under eye. So this would have pretty much been the completed look. Although this one is a little bit more pigmented and a little more extra, as people say. But because I'm taking the old look as inspiration for today's look, I am going to add in a lower waterline and lash line color. So I'm going to take a smudger brush. I'll dip into 350 degrees in Blueberry Muffin since it's open in my hand. And I'll throw that down here. Now I will go back into At Forest Sight and take Amanita on the same brush and put that right where the color finished. Can you hear my baby fussing? I've been trying all morning to put her down for a nap, and she is not playing ball. Remember I said in the beginning of the video that I was feeling weary and tired? That's probably why. She's just not napping. Last night she was up, I don't know, 8 or 9 times. She's been up a lot lately and making me sleepy. I slept in this morning. My husband went to work and then I actually went back to bed. I don't feel any more well rested. I just feel now, honestly, I just feel more tired because I didn't have that chunk of time to myself and to get things done around the house before the children woke up. I feel more tired because I slept longer. I'm going to take a small pencil brush and dip back into Blueberry Muffin, but this time I want to grab the shade Sugared, which is right here. An inner corner highlight is another thing that I did not do when I first started eyeshadow, but now I rather like that. So I'm gonna spray the brush after it's dipped into the pan and then put that as my inner corner highlight and drag it down to meet the Amanita shade that we laid down. And again, water lines are not something that I did before when I first started eyeshadow, but I'm gonna do it today. I'm taking a shade from the ColourPop Bambi collection called Purity. I think I just lost the tip of it somewhere. And I'm gonna put that on my waterline. You know, I just realized I misread that. It's not called Purity, it's called Purty. P-U-R-T-Y, Purty. When I edit this video, I will make that correction. It's called Purty. Now I'm gonna go off camera, throw on some black eyeliner and mascara and finish this up. Okay guys, here's the finished look. I didn't add anything else other than black eyeliner, mascara, and setting spray. I do have some chapstick on, but I don't have any other cosmetic products on. I didn't feel like doing bronzer or blush or highlighter or my eyebrows or lip oil, even from ColourPop, anything else. I just didn't feel like it. But I do feel better. It's fascinating to me how being a little bit creative can help release some tensions, and I do feel better. I feel a little more calm. I'm gonna make myself some tea and then wrangle with my baby who is still not sleeping. Anyway, I think this eyeshadow look is very pretty. I'm gonna have a lot of fun revisiting my favorite look of the previous months as I sort of work through my anniversary journey. And I thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the look. It's very easy and quick, so let me know if you try it yourself. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like this content. And don't forget to find me on Instagram. And until we see each other again, have a great day. Bye. I'm going to drop my things. I'm going to take a small pencil brush and dip into the shade Sweet again.
Paige is writing on it.
Okay, we'll go grab a couple loose sheets from over there.
Okay.
I did order you notebooks, so they'll come in the next day or two. Assuming the weather doesn't keep them at bay.